Picture this. It is 11:38 p.m. on a Wednesday. You're sitting on your couch in sweatpants you've owned since 2019, and you just opened your banking app for the fourth time today. Not because anything changed, not because you got paid. You just needed to look at the number again. Like checking it one more time would somehow make it bigger. And the number sitting there is $47,212. You know what is wild about exactly that? 6 months ago, you would have killed for $47,000 in savings. You remember when you had $8,000 in your account and thought if I could just get to 20,000, I'd stop worrying. Then you hit 20,000 and moved the goalpost to 30,000. And then you quickly moved it again to 40,000. Now you're staring at 47,000 at almost midnight on a work night. And somehow, you still feel completely broke. You landed that job paying $82,000 a year. You told your mom about it, and she literally cried. You told your friends, and they said you were set. And for about 3 weeks, you actually believed them. Then your rent went up $200, and your car insurance jumped. Then you got that dental bill for $1,400. That insurance decided was cosmetic, because chewing food is a luxury now. And just like that, you're back to doing mental math in the grocery store, putting the organic strawberries back and grabbing the regular ones, because paying $6.99 just feels irresponsible. $82,000 a year, and you're stressed about strawberries. I'm exhausted just describing this because I've lived some version of it. And honestly, so have most of the people reading financial advice at midnight, instead of just going to sleep. Here is what nobody in the personal finance world has the guts to say plainly. There is a specific dollar amount where your brain finally shuts up about money, where the 3 a.m. bank account checking stops, and the strawberry math disappears, where you stop flinching every time your phone buzzes with a transaction alert. That number is $100,000 in liquid, accessible savings. Not retirement accounts you can't touch until you're 59 and a half. Not home equity that just exists completely on paper, while you're still sending your friend $14 for your share of dinner. Actual cash you can access tomorrow if everything went sideways, $100,000. Now you might be thinking, oh great, another person on the internet, telling me I need 6 figures in the bank, like I can just manifest it, between my $1,800 rent and my student loan payments. I hear you, and I am not here to pretend this is easy, but I am going to tell you something that the budgeting apps completely ignore, and the skip your morning coffee crowd will never actually explain to you. The reason you still feel broke at $47,000 in savings and $82,000 in income isn't because you're bad with money. It is because you haven't crossed the one important threshold, where your brain chemistry actually changes how it processes financial information. Every dollar before 100,000 feels like a dollar you're about to lose. Every dollar after, it feels like a dollar that is working for you. I call this the anxiety cliff, and almost nobody talks about it because the entire financial advice industry is completely designed to keep you in a permanent state of not quite enough. Your banking app wants you checking 4 times a day. That is engagement. Your credit card company wants you carrying a balance, and that is revenue. Your employer wants you terrified of losing your job. That is leverage. None of these systems benefit from you feeling financially secure. Every single one of them profits heavily from your anxiety. The anxiety cliff is the point where you stop being useful to them. It is the exact point where the fear simply stops working, where you look at a $3,000 car repair, and your first thought isn't there goes my emergency fund. But that is annoying. 3% of your savings, not 30, a rounding error, not a crisis. And here is the thing that really gets me. The difference between the person panicking about organic strawberry prices And the person who barely notices a $3,000 expense isn't talent. It isn't luck, and it isn't some secret investment strategy. It is one single number and one single threshold. One cliff your brain falls off of. And suddenly, everything about how you experience money is completely different. But getting there requires understanding exactly why $100,000 rewires your entire financial psychology from the ground up. And it starts with destroying the biggest lie the personal finance industry ever told you. The lie that your money works in a straight line. Now, let me tear apart every lie you've been fed about money, because the financial advice industry has been running the same con on you for decades. And I'm honestly exhausted watching people fall for it. I call it the hamster wheel doctrine. It is this beautiful little scam where every bank, every budgeting app, and every personal finance influencer with a ring light and a spreadsheet tells you the exact same thing. Just be more disciplined, just budget harder, and just cut back. As if the reason you're broke is because you bought a $6 iced coffee instead of drinking the burnt sludge from the office Keurig. Here is what nobody ever wants to say out loud. The just budget better crowd is completely selling you a fantasy. They're pointing at your $12 Chipotle bowl, while your landlord just raised your rent $200 a month. They're telling you to cancel Netflix. That is $15.99, while your health insurance premium went up $180 this year. That is like telling someone trapped in a burning building to blow on the flames. Technically, you're doing something, but practically, you're wasting your last breath. And look, I get it. Some of you are thinking that budgeting does help. Discipline does matter, and sure, nobody is arguing that. But here is the thing that really gets me. The entire mainstream financial advice machine is designed to make you blame yourself. So you never look up at the system that is bleeding you dry. Your employer's HR department posted a job listing for your exact role last month. The starting salary was $14,000 more than what you're making. They'll pay a stranger more than they pay you, and then send you a company-wide email about gratitude in the workplace. That is not a budgeting problem. That is a robbery. Let me hit you with the second lie. The myth that wealth is linear. That saving $500 a month for 200 months gets you $100,000. Your bank savings calculator shows you this pretty little graph, a straight line going up and to the right. It is adorable, but it is completely dishonest, because what that graph doesn't show you is the emergency vet bill, the $4,200 bill in month 14, or the $2,800 car transmission in month 31, the 3 months of unemployment in month 47 through 49, where you burned through $9,000 just keeping the lights on. The real graph looks like a heart monitor during a horror movie. Up, crash, flatline, tiny recovery, and crash again. And every time you crash, some guy on TikTok in a rented Lamborghini tells you it is because you lack a wealth mindset. I want to throw my phone into the ocean. Here is lie number 3, and this one is the most dangerous. The idea that all dollars are equal, they're simply not. A dollar when you have $800 in your account is a completely different animal than a dollar when you have 100,000. When you have $800, every single dollar is a survival dollar. It is rent, it is gas, it is the $4.29 gallon of milk that you're doing mental math about in aisle 7 at Walmart. But when you have 100,000, a dollar becomes an opportunity dollar. It can sit in an index fund and multiply. It can buy you time to find a much better job. It can fund the first month of a side project. The financial system knows this, and banks absolutely know this. That is why they charge you a $35 overdraft fee when you're only $3 short, but offer you premium interest rates and fee waivers. Once you deposit $100,000, they literally punish you for being poor and reward you for being rich. Using the exact same institution, with the exact same logo on the door. Now you might be thinking, okay, so the system is rigged. What am I supposed to do? Just give up. No, it is the exact opposite. You're supposed to get completely angry at the math. You're supposed to stop accepting the hamster wheel doctrine. That says your brokenness is a personal failing instead of a structural trap designed to keep you spending every single dollar before you can even stack it. The credit card companies spending $12 billion a year on marketing aren't doing that because they want to help you build credit. Your favorite shopping app didn't engineer one-click purchasing because they somehow respect your financial boundaries. The entire consumer economy is a machine built to intercept your money between your direct deposit and your savings account. Every push notification and every limited time offer, every only 3 left in stock banner is a calculated extraction tool pointed directly at your checking account. And the worst part is when it actually works and you spend the money. The same system turns around and sells you a budgeting course to fix the exact problem it created, but it gets worse. All right, here is the actual math. The part nobody wants to sit down and do because it makes the excuses evaporate. Let's say you make $55,000 a year. That is roughly $3,800 a month after taxes, depending on your state. The median American household, nothing fancy, nothing special. You, your apartment, your car payment, your streaming subscriptions, and your DoorDash habit that you pretend doesn't even exist. Now, if you save $500 a month and park it in a high-yield savings account, paying 4.5%, which is real and exists right now at places like Marcus or Ally, you hit $100,000 in about 13 years. I know, 13 years sounds like forever. It sounds like I just told you to walk all the way to California. But here is the number that completely changes the game. If you save $1,000 a month and invest it in an index fund averaging 10% historically, you cross $100,000 in roughly 7 years. 7, that is not retirement. That is before your kid finishes elementary school. Now you might be thinking, cool, where exactly am I pulling $1,000 from? My magical money tree. Fair, so let's break this into the actual mechanics. I call this the dual engine method because you need 2 things firing at the exact same time. And most people only ever try to use one. Engine 1. Cut the invisible bleed and not the latte. I am so tired of the whole latte thing. I'm talking about the $214 a month. In subscriptions, you completely forgot. You're even paying the $387 car insurance premium that you haven't shopped in 3 years because calling feels like a chore. The $160 a month in bank fees and interest charges. That chase pockets while their CEO takes home $36 million a year. According to a survey, 46% of Americans haven't compared insurance rates in over 3 years. That is not laziness. That is the system counting on your inertia. Your bank, your insurance company, and your cell phone carrier. They are all betting you won't spend 45 minutes on hold to save $150 a month, and they're usually right. Engine 2. Force your income up, not manifest abundance, not believe in yourself. I mean, go get an actual certification. I mean, apply to 12 jobs this month. Instead of scrolling LinkedIn like it is Instagram, the Bureau of Labor Statistics shows that people who switch jobs see an average salary increase of 10 to 20%. People who stay at the same company get 3 to 4% raises that don't even keep up with inflation. You are not being loyal. You are just being underpaid. Your HR department is not your friend. They have a budget, and their literal job is to keep you under it. Here is where both engines compound. You cut $400 in invisible bleed. You negotiate or job hop into an extra $600 a month. And just like that, there is your $1,000. You set up an automatic transfer into a brokerage account the exact day your paycheck hits, before you even see it, before your brain starts negotiating with itself at 11 p.m. about whether you deserve those $89 sneakers on sale. Automation is the cheat code, and not because you're weak, because the entire consumer economy is engineered by people with PhDs, whose literal job is to separate you from your money before you can even think straight. The grocery store puts candy right at the checkout. Amazon puts buy now in bright orange. Afterpay lets you pretend $200 is actually 4 easy payments of nothing. You are not fighting your own discipline. You are fighting a $1 trillion persuasion machine. So stop trying to out-willpower it. Automate the money out of your account on day one, and let the machine fight an empty wallet instead. And here is the part that'll make you sick if you don't start now. If you begin at 25 and invest $1,000 a month, at 10% average returns by 50, you don't have $300,000. You have over $1.3 million. But if you wait until 35 to start the exact same thing, you end up with about $430,000 at 50. Same effort, same monthly sacrifice, $870,000 less. That gap isn't punishment. That is compound interest doing exactly what it was designed to do, rewarding the people who showed up early and taxing the ones who kept saying, "I'll start next year." The first $100,000 is the hardest. Charlie Munger said it, and Warren Buffett confirmed it. Every boring finance person repeats it because it is aggressively, annoyingly true. After 100,000, your money starts pulling its own weight. Before 100,000, you're dragging it uphill by yourself. So here is what I need you to sit with for a second. And I mean actually sit with it, not nod, and not screenshot this for later. Not add it to some Pinterest board called Money Goals 2025 that you'll literally never look at again. You just spent the last 15 minutes learning exactly why. Why $100,000 completely changes everything. The emergency fund math, the fear-based decision trap, the compound growth engine, and the cognitive bandwidth that you're hemorrhaging every single day you stay broke. You heard all of it. You understood all of it, and none of it matters. Not a single word of it matters if you close this video and open DoorDash. Not one data point matters if you scroll to the next reel about some 23-year-old in Dubai pretending crypto made him rich. None of the psychology matters if you wake up tomorrow and do the exact same thing you did yesterday. Because here is the truth that actually hurts. You already knew most of this. Maybe not the specifics and maybe not the compound math, but somewhere in the back of your skull, behind the justifications, behind the "I deserve this" and the "I'll start next month," you already knew that you were bleeding money. You already knew that the $287 cart at 1 a.m. was never going to actually make you happier. You already knew that financing a $42,000 SUV on a $55,000 salary was completely insane. You already knew that your savings account sitting at $1,400 wasn't going to protect you from anything real. You knew, you just didn't want to feel it. And that is the actual enemy here, not your income, not the economy, not even the credit card companies, though they are absolutely parasites. The real enemy is the version of you that would rather feel comfortable tonight than be free in 5 years. The version of you that treats a $7 oat milk latte like self-care, while your Chase app sends you low balance alerts. The version of you that watches financial content like it is entertainment instead of a mirror. That person has to die. I'm not being dramatic. I am being literal. The version of you that got you here, to this exact financial position, with this exact bank balance, and this exact level of 3 a.m. anxiety. That version of you is not going to build 100,000 in savings. That version is designed to stay exactly where you are. Comfortable enough to not panic, but broke enough to never be free. That is the sweet spot the system completely wants you in. Just enough to keep showing up to that job you hate on Monday. Just enough to keep making minimum payments. Just enough to keep buying things that make the emptiness quiet for about 45 minutes. You want to know what separates the person who actually hits 100,000 from the person who talks about it for the next decade. It is not intelligence. It is not a better salary. And it is not a secret app. It is the willingness to be uncomfortable right now. It is saying no to the group trip to Nashville when your savings account only has $3,200 in it. It is driving the paid-off 2016 Civic while your coworker pulls up in a leased BMW. That is eating $780 a month of his future. It is sitting alone on a Friday night with a spreadsheet instead of a bar tab. It is choosing to be the weird one, the boring one, the one who never does anything fun anymore. Because fun is what broke people call the exact thing that is keeping them broke. And look, I get it. That sounds incredibly harsh. It sounds like I'm telling you to live like a monk and hate your life for 5 years. But I'm not. I'm telling you that the discomfort of discipline is temporary, but the discomfort of being financially trapped is permanent. One of those hurts for a season. The other one hurts until you're 67 and wondering why you can't retire. You're not just deciding whether to save money, you're deciding who you're going to be. Every dollar you spend is a vote for the person you are right now. Every dollar you save is a vote for the person you could become. And right now, the scoreboard isn't even close. So the question isn't whether $100,000 changes your life. We've already completely proven that it does. The question is whether you're going to keep voting for the version of yourself, the version of yourself that will absolutely never get there. Because your money didn't disappear, you spent it becoming someone who doesn't have any. If this hit different, smash that like button and subscribe. I will see you in the next one.